Joining me now is author and political commentator Shamika Michelle.
Shamika Michelle.
Shamika Michelle.
Shamika Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got.
What's up, y'all? I was going to write a post out, but I just feel like I need to say this. You know, I would say happy 4th of July, but it's not really a happy 4th of July, is it? Because 4th of July is supposed to stand for independence and, you know, how a country fought for freedom, all this stuff. But this ain't the land of the free. Y'all have taken away women's rights. You're trying to take away voters' rights. You're not representing anything that this holiday is supposed to be about. You know, I listen to the Star Spangled Banner and all of that, and I go, this is not the land of the free. This is not nothing that we're saying that it is. Nothing. So it's hard for me to say happy 4th of July because it feels like we're going back to slavery, you know. So maybe I should say happy back to slavery day, because if we don't do something, there will be no Independence Day for anyone. Yeah. What's up, y'all?
Why? We have gone from Frederick Douglass to Future. And my question is, when did we lower the standards? Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome to Shaking My Head with Shamika Michelle. I am your host, Shamika Michelle. And today, this is like just a heart-to-heart with Black people. Maybe you can call it an open letter to Black people, a plea to Black people as we celebrate the 100th or the centennial year of Negro History Week. I just want to have a heart-to-heart because somewhere, guys, we have dropped the ball. We have lowered the standard, and I'm trying to figure out where it happened, why it happened, how we allowed it to happen. How did we go from celebrating the accomplishments of Negroes to constantly whining and feeling oppressed and not even walking around with the same standard of excellence that we used to have? Negro History Week was created to raise expectations. But somewhere along the way, we started managing disappointment instead of demanding excellence. And I just want to know how it happened. We settled, period. And we can pretend like we didn't, but there are a whole group of people who absolutely did, and they don't see that we went wrong. I can't even say where we went wrong because they don't even acknowledge that we went wrong somewhere. As I stated, this year marks the 100 years since Negro History Week was created. It eventually became Black History Month. That's where we are right now here in February, but we're in the exact week where it started. So timing of this show matters. Timing of this conversation, of this heart-to-heart, it matters. I'm really not trying to fuss or chastise. I'm honestly just trying to have a heart-to-heart and ask the question. Because It bothers me. When I see the young people of today, it bothers me. Heck, when I see the older people of today and I see how we have lowered our standards in just about everything, it truly bothers me. I was actually watching an old Joe Louis fight. Um, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was Sunday, I can't remember. And I was looking at the way the black people in the audience was dressed. The black people in the audience, the way they were dressed, not even just the people in the crowd who were able to get into the fight, but the people who were outside on the streets just waiting to hear about who won, the way they were dressed. I look at old pictures and I see the way people dressed outside, the way they carried themselves with class and dignity. It didn't matter how they acted behind closed doors. In public, they dressed with pride. They had class. They dressed with dignity. Now, go out to a Walmart on a Tuesday. You're going to see women in pajama pants, men in pajama pants, Crocs, bonnets, just not even giving a damn about the simplest thing, which is presentation. We don't even have to break down behavior, just presentation, the way you present yourself, the first impression that you're willing to give someone. We have lowered our standards, don't even care. And I'm trying to figure out, how did we get here? I want to know, did we stay true to the original purpose of Negro History Week? Did we stay true to what Carter G. Woodson was trying to accomplish? Or did we settle? I would say we settled. And we settled bad. Black history started as proof of capability. It wasn't something that signified permanent oppression. They believed that Black people or Negro people at the time had the ability and had achieved. It wasn't started so that we could sit and whine and find every moment to complain and claim racism and claim oppression. Frederick Douglass believed freedom required discipline, literacy, and responsibility. Carter G. Woodson believed ignorance of achievement was mentally destructive. Modern messaging, however, sounds very different. We are not telling the people coming behind us that ignorance of achievement is mentally destructive. We're actually telling our young kids that they're oppressed, that they will be left behind simply by the color of their skin. That's an issue. And as we celebrate Black History Month, what started out as Negro History Week, I'm trying to figure out, at what point did the standard change? I want to talk about why and when. I want to talk about what Black history or Negro history was supposed to do. Carter G. Woodson was a historian first, not a protester. We have a lot of people out here now ready to protest, ready to change their profile picture to a black square. But Carter G. Woodson was a historian. He was son of formerly enslaved parents. He was self-educated and had a PhD from Harvard. That was Carter G. Woodson. His concern wasn't racism. It was psychological dependency. He did not want us constantly dependent psychologically. Yet, when you hear the so-called leaders of today speak, I hear something totally different. Carter G. Woodson believed that Negro Americans, or if Negro Americans only saw themselves through struggle, they would internalize limitation. Let me repeat. He believed if the Negro only saw themselves through struggle, they would internalize limitation. So tell me why the so-called Black leaders of today, all they talk about is struggle. All they push on Black people is struggle, is oppression, is we shall overcome someday. So we can't be surprised when we see that these young people have internalized limitation. So for all of you Black people out here always talking about you need to go back to school and learn your history. My ancestors, our ancestors. Do you know your history? My guess would be no, because for as many people as I saw whining about a monkey meme, I didn't see people celebrating the centennial year of Negro History Week, the centennial year of them coming together and talking about Black achievement. You're so focused on oppression that you don't even talk about Black achievement. The very week that is the centennial year. And you know how I know it's the very week? Because we have Abraham Lincoln on the 12th, Frederick Douglass on the 14th, and me, K.A. on the 13th. We're in the centennial year, and for everybody always talking about right fists up, Black power, power to the people, you aren't even celebrating Negro History Week. So I have to ask you, do you know your history? Do you know why it was started? It was originally known as Negro History Week. Yes, we have Black History Month now, but it was started as Negro History Week, established in 1926 by historian, not protester, not whiner, not complainer, historian Dr. Carter G. Woodson, and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Woodson chose, as I said, the second week of February because it encompassed the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And he must have known I was coming along. So a reminder to you all that my birthday is Friday. The purpose was designed to reform the American educational system, which at the time largely ignored or distorted Negro history. The observance gained momentum during the Civil Rights Movement, and in my opinion, it began to change us celebrating achievement to whining about oppression and lack. if you've heard me talk at all, you know that I disagreed with forced integration. I believe forced integration caused the Negro to become the Black people you see today, lazy and whining. Instead of feeling like we didn't need white people, we could have our own hospitals and banks, have our own engineers and doctors, plumbers, lawyers. We became dependent on the white man, the government, always looking for a handout. We need y'all to survive. We need y'all to actually be just whining. Please include us. Please like us. Please don't forget about us. And what was once the strong Negro became the Black people you see today, just whining and complaining. The strong Negro who used to care about how he looked when he stepped outside the house, how he was dressed, how his hair was maintained, how he carried himself in public, became what you see today as young niggas. Celebrating oppression, but not only that, glorifying idiocy, glorifying being stupid, glorifying being ignorant. We went from Frederick Douglass to Future. We went from Rosa Parks to Sexy Red. And it is my belief that the American Negro of that time, the Carter G. Woodsons, the Frederick Douglass, didn't evolve into the Future and the Sexy Reds. They evolved into the Clarence Thomas, the Shamika Michelle's, the Candace Owens, the Jason Whitlocks, the people who saw opportunity in America. Not the people like Leslie Jones, who I just showed that video, who's in the middle, who took the opportunities in America to become successful, only to then turn around and tell everybody else, oh, we're going back to slavery. This, maybe I should say happy Slavery Day. Talking and sounding stupid. We're not honoring our ancestors as we claim. Because if we were honoring our ancestors, Black people, as we claim, instead of all of the whole whining over the monkey meme, you'd have started to put out happy centennial of Negro History Week. Look at all that we've done. Look at all that we have accomplished. Look at how far we've come. Look at how successful we are. Look at how we are making our ancestors proud by continuing the legacy of achievement, by continuing the legacy of dignity, by continuing the legacy of integrity and character. That's what we would have started to push out instead of all of the whining and the complaining and the niggerness that we see on a daily basis. Negro History Week was created to document achievement. It was created to restore dignity. What type of dignity are we restoring now? When you can go to Walmart in your pajama pants and your bonnet, ladies, and get into a fight in the produce section, what type of dignity do you have about yourself? Young men, when you can stand on the corner with your pants around your knees, what type of dignity is there to restore with you? Where's the dignity? Negro History Week was created to build intellectual confidence. It was to say, we can learn, we can read, we can write, we can be prolific speakers, we can excel, we can achieve. Build intellectual confidence. Have you heard the young people of today speak? I was listening to a live earlier of someone in my city, and just to hear her talk, if there were a such thing as nigger droppings, she would have been walking and talking just nigger droppings all over the place. This is why I say I have to unblack myself and separate myself from Black people, because all Black people care about today is skin worship. Skin worship and finding some sense of racism to escape or pretend. That's why you can't achieve in life. When the Negro of old, that wasn't the mindset they had. The Negro of old felt like they could achieve. The Negro of old felt like they were just as smart, just as wise as anybody else. The Negro of old. They wanted to prove participation in American civilization. They wanted to show, look at what we accomplished. Nothing can stop us. The only person or thing that can get in our way is us. Now everything is in our way. White people are in our way. Racism is in our way. Prejudice is in our way. White supremacy is in our way. They don't like us is in our way. They said something about my hair is in our way. They portrayed us as a monkey is in our way. I can't get dressed like I care about how I look is in our way. Bitches and hoes all in the music is in our way. We got more excuses than a nigga going to jail for why we can't achieve. Yet our ancestors who faced real racism didn't even focus on that. They focused on achievement. They used history as armor, history as motivation, history as proof that we could do anything we put our minds to. Black history wasn't meant to make us comfortable in grievance. That's not the point of Black history. I see so many times that we look back and all people want to talk about is slavery. We're in 2026 and some of you still act as if you are shackled and chained. And many of you are in your mind. But Black history isn't supposed to be about grievance. It's to make you confident in competition. When you look at all the great people who came before us, you're supposed to feel confident in competition. But instead, y'all are looking at Black history through victim lenses. And it's a disgrace and it's disgusting. This centennial year of Negro History Week, Black people, you are failing. You should not be proud of what you have done to Negro History Week. It's a shame and a scandal. Black history was supposed to raise expectations. Do you know how encouraging it is when you see someone with the same type of melanin? That was supposed to encourage you. Oh, Booker T. Washington, up from slavery. He did all of this up from slavery. Well, imagine what I can do not coming out of slavery. Not having someone say, I can't learn to read or write. We have freedom of education, and you bastards don't even want to go to school. Nobody is stopping you from going to whatever school you want to go to in 2026. Yet you niggas won't learn. You refuse to learn. It is a shame that in 2026, y'all struggle with your and your. You struggle with THERE, THEIR, THEY''RE. It's a shame. Education is free. Nobody's spitting on you when you walk through the doors of the school. Nobody is pushing and shoving you and standing in front of the doors and saying you can't get in there. You have every right and ability to learn, and you are wasting it. Complaining and whining and not taking every opportunity you can to be successful. Happy Negro History Week. Happy Centennial Negro History Week, Black people. Are you proud? Are you proud with how you carry yourselves? Are you proud at what you've accomplished without all of the barriers in your way? Are you proud that we have come from Frederick Douglass to Future? When did we lower our expectations that we don't even mind seeing Black people fighting, rolling around in the produce section? We don't mind so much that as soon as we see it, we pull out our phones to record, laughing and joking and posting it on social media for everybody to see how ignorant we can be. And please, I know, I don't want to hear the whole, but white people do it too. This is a conversation, a heart to heart, Black to Black, dark skin to dark skin, high melanin count to high melanin count, however you want to frame it. I'm not talking about Jethro and Billy Bob, what they do up in Appalachia. I don't care about that. I'm not talking about what they do at the bikers club. I am talking right now, Negro to Negro. Because this is Black History Month, right? It's the anniversary of Negro History Week. So it's a conversation from me to you. Black history was created to raise expectations, not manage disappointments. This is not for y'all to constantly be whining about what isn't. You're supposed to be celebrating what is, what has been, what the people before us were able to accomplish. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Frederick Douglass didn't wait for permission. Why are y'all always sitting around waiting on a handout? Do you know how embarrassing it was to see so many people whining and complaining about EBT? As if that's your only resource. Now, for those who are maybe elderly, disabled, just hit hard times for a short amount of time. Okay, but those weren't even the ones online. It was you sitting around with your hand out, just lazy, and always talking about you need to learn your history. No, you need to learn yours, you lazy bastard. Frederick Douglass didn't sit around waiting for permission. He focused on literacy as liberation. He felt like education would free you, would free us as Black people. The more we knew, the freer we would be. He focused on work as dignity. Now, some of you refuse to work. Work is beneath you. You just rather collect a check. He focused on family as stability, and now we don't even value family. And you know how I know you don't value family? Men, when you're sowing your seeds in gardens that you know you will never tend. You know how I know we don't value family? Women, when you're popping your legs open, having a baby by this one and that one, and then this one over here. You don't value family. You're not even trying to create families. You're just trying to drop bastards all over the place. Just all over the place. Bastard here, bastard there, bastard everywhere. Not even valuing family as stability. Frederick Douglass had valued moral discipline. He felt like that was freedom. If you showed some type of moral discipline, it would create freedom. You know why so many of you still feel oppressed? You don't have any moral discipline. Ladies, if you're popping your legs open for every Tom, Dick, and Harry and having babies you can't afford to take care of, that shows a lack of moral discipline, which is only going to create dependency, and you won't have any freedom. That's not what Frederick Douglass stood for. Those who came before us, that's not what they stood for. There has been a shift. There has been a shift. And now we're not just breaking chains. See, they broke chains and they built character. But there has been a shift from 1926 to 2026. There has been a shift. We've gone from self-mastery to self-expression. Oh, I just want to express myself. I just want to say how I feel. I just want to be who I am. I just want to do me. Free to be me. When these people were our ancestors, they believed in self-mastery. They wanted to do better, be better, not just express themselves. We've gone from self-mastery to self-expression. This is why they would fight to read. They would fight to learn even when it wasn't okay for them to learn. They fought for it because they believed in self-mastery. We have gone from responsibility to validation. The ancestors actually took on responsibility. That's why even if they didn't have a dime in their pocket, you couldn't tell. They would put on their best clothes and go out and get work, and they wanted to be responsible. Now all people want is a like on social media. I told you I was listening to a video from someone here in my city just looking for validation. I didn't hear an ounce of responsibility or accountability because, first of all, if she was responsible at all, responsibility would have clicked stop on the camera. Let me not allow myself to look and sound stupid. But we've moved from responsibility to validation. I just want to be validated. I just want somebody to like, comment, share. Doesn't matter if I'm up here looking like a buffoon. It doesn't matter if I sound like I didn't finish the 5th grade. I just want validation. This centennial Negro History Week, the centennial celebration, I just want validation. But will be the first one to holler, my ancestors. My ancestors, y'all need to learn y'all history. I can't see that you learned yours. We have gone from discipline to indulgence. Do you know the discipline that it took 100 years ago to get through life? I told you all on yesterday, I was listening to my great uncle, who was a Korean War veteran born in 1928. And they were asking him, how did you get through the racism you had to face? Paying the same fare to ride the bus or the train, but having to get in the back, having to be near, I guess, the caboose or wherever the fumes were coming into the train car. How did you live through that? He said, you just did. That was discipline. Now, all we care about is satisfying every urge. You got an urge to fight? Well, let me satisfy that. You got an urge to just drop it like it's hot? Let me satisfy that. You got an urge to steal, kill, or destroy? Let me satisfy that. We just like indulgence. Smoking weed from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. This whole wake and bake, maybe that's the old term, I don't know. But I'm seeing the fruit of the wake and bake, and I don't like it. I'm seeing the fruit of y'all indulging and not showing any discipline every single day from my people, my skin folk. I'm seeing the fruit of the indulgence, and I don't like it. This is a heart-to-heart from me to you. We've gone from Frederick Douglass, the future, and this isn't about your taste in music. I want to make sure you all get that. I want to make sure you understand it. This is about what we reward and what we have normalized in 100 years. We have normalized ignorance. We have normalized bad behavior. We have normalized not having an ounce of dignity in class in 100 years. I found a picture. I was going through my phone and saw a picture of my great-grandmother who died when I was in the 12th grade, dressed to the nines, as they would call it, sharp as a tack. And this wasn't Sunday. This was how they carried themselves daily. This wasn't special occasion attire. They actually cared. Now y'all roll out the bed and go to the store and are offended when people say something about you outside in bonnets. You're offended. Well, do you know why black women wear bonnets? We don't care. We don't care why you're wearing a bonnet outside of the house. We don't care why you are in your Snoopy pajama pants in the Family Dollar. We don't care. You look dumb. You look stinking. And you look real ignorant. We don't care why. We want you to have more dignity, class, and self-respect because that's what your ancestors had. They actually cared. So when you turn around and tell people they need to know their history, they need to learn their history, and the ancestors, I want you to think about how we have evolved as a people. What did the modern day black people, the YNs, what did they evolve, or who did they evolve from? You're not going to tell me y'all evolved from Carter G. Woodson. You're not going to tell me y'all evolved from Booker T. Washington. You're not going to tell me that. I don't believe it. You're not going to tell me you evolved from Malcolm X. Stop tossing their names around when you aren't making them proud. And the ones who do seem as if they grabbed hold to the things they were trying to teach in those days, y'all ridicule. Y'all say, oh, they ain't black. Y'all say, oh, they are Uncle Toms, or they are coons. I say they evolved from the Negro who actually wanted to be something, who actually wanted to be seen as somebody. That's who they evolved from. All this niggerness y'all doing, I don't know where you came from. It wasn't from the American Negro of old. It wasn't. Modern culture today only celebrates escape. They weren't trying to escape. They stood 10 toes down, faced what they had to face, and still wanted to be great in the face of. All y'all want to do is escape. That's why you're high and drunk every single day. You want to escape. You don't want any accountability or responsibility. That's why you whine and complain. That's why it's everybody else and never you. No responsibility. We celebrate escape now. Y'all don't want any consequences. I can't get a job. Well, with 100 tattoos on your face, why should you? No one wants to hire me. You're lazy. You came to the interview in your Mickey Mouse pajamas. Why would they hire you? You were talking on your cell phone, loud and ignorant. Why would they hire you? You can't even type a resume. Why would they hire you? And this is a cultural shift that we're seeing. It's not an accident. It's not a one-off, as you all like to see. It's a cultural shift. The American Negro would be disgraced by y'all. And I constantly see, you the type Harriet Tubman would have killed. She would have shot. No, y'all are the type. The lazy. The leaning on somebody else. The looking for a handout. Y'all are the type she would have shot. And granted, some of you are rich, but still niggas. Still ignorant. I just saw a video of I heard a video of Ja Rule, who is 50 years old, having a disagreement or getting into some type of altercation at 50. Come on, y'all. You think Frederick Douglass in his nice clothes was just turning around, scrapping in the streets every time we blinked? And y'all still think that's cool? He fought so we could compete, not so we could be protected from standards. We've lowered our standards because guess what? People are going to be mad at me for having the audacity to address it. We've lowered standards so much that we don't even want to hear people talk about it. How dare you? How dare you have anything to say about Black people? How dare you call us to the carpet, you coon? How dare you say we have lowered our standards when it's clear across the board? How dare you? We lowered our standards somewhere around civil rights, somewhere between civil rights and modern politics, modern identity politics. We have lowered our standards. Just don't even care. Excellence became optional. Things that aren't even excellent, we call excellent. Oh, that's Black excellence right there. Oh, it is? Walking around with her ass out is Black excellence? I'm confused. Walking around with his pants sagging to his knees just because he got on a bunch of diamond chains, that's excellence? That's Black excellence? It's a shame and a scandal. We have softened our expectations. I remember when I was in school, because I hear people whine about this all the time. My mother would say, you got to be 10 times better. Now, that wasn't the truth, but that was the expectation, that I had to go to school to get an education, and I better get a good one. I better get grades worth taking to my neighbors on the street so I could get $1 for A's or 50 cents for B's. There was an expectation for us to be great. Now I see parents whining about homework. Homework is unfair. My child, my child can't learn to read. Well, is your child retarded? Because unless your child is retarded, what do you mean? What is the problem? Put your phone down, mama. Pull your skirt down and pay attention to your children. Begin to value family stability again. Then maybe you wouldn't have to work 12 and 14 hours. You could pay attention to your children. And you wouldn't have to lower expectations because you would expect them to excel. There was a time when outcomes mattered. And we wanted good outcomes, great outcomes. Now, outcomes don't even matter. When did discomfort become oppression? It's not always comfortable to have to achieve. But when did it become oppression? When did hard work become oppression? When did trying to reach standards and goals become oppression? When did standards become harm and hurtful and something for y'all to whine and cry about? When? This is my open letter. When did we lower our standards? How did we go from Frederick Douglass to Future? Nowadays, we are rewarding grievance. That's why people who stand behind a podium and tell you you can't, we're oppressed, we can't achieve. That's why they can do that and get a $30,000 check for it. Because we reward grievance. You're sad, we reward grievance. You're oppressed, we reward grievance. You always hollering, the black man down, the black man down, the black man down. We're going to reward that. Oh, she keeping it real. She say it's hard out here. She keeping it real. Let me watch Oprah Winfrey become a billionaire only to then put out stuff telling us how bad America is and how we can't achieve. Let's watch Leslie Jones be an unattractive, unfunny black woman achieve success and then tell us Happy Slavery Day. We reward grievance. And the media amplifies struggle, not success. You're doing bad? Oh, the media got a story. The media is going to make a big deal of it. We love a good struggle story. You struggling? I like to hear about it. Here it go. We love a good struggle story. We don't want to hear about success. Cultural messaging lowers the bar in the name of compassion. Oh, I don't want to expect you to be great. I need to show you some compassion and some empathy. Life was hard for you. Life was so hard for you with your $1,000 cell phone and your $1,500 iPad. Let me show some compassion for you, some empathy for you. Life was so hard. You rode to school every day in a Benz, but life was so hard for you. Let me show you some compassion. Oh no, don't worry about being great. Life was hard. You didn't, you didn't have steak and caviar to eat every day. It was so hard. I'm just going to join your pity party. Because woo, 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 woo. That's a quiet danger, and we've normalized it. It's lowered expectations dressed up as empathy. This is why when I'm having a conversation with somebody and I'm refuting their points and I'm trying to tell them how they can succeed and be successful and how great they are, they're blocking it because they want empathy. They want lower expectation dressed up as empathy. I don't have it for you. Stop whining. What you whining about? What you crying about? Did you leave the house to go to school and where you met with dogs? Were they spitting on you as you walked into the schoolhouse? What are you whining about? Did you go and sit for a job, looking for a job all day? And you was passed over by a less qualified white person simply because they were white? Were you out and couldn't stop and use whatever restroom you wanted to use because it said whites only? Were you thirsty somewhere and couldn't get a drink from the water fountain that read whites only? No? Then what are you whining about? What's keeping you, Black person, from being successful? You didn't face those type of hardships today? Suck it up. Life is hard. But if you didn't face those type of hardships today, suck it up. And to you women, that's a savage. You're sucking everything else. Suck that up. I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of y'all, and I'm sick of you walking around with these lowered expectations and trying to normalize it for the next generation. As I said before, it's a shame and a scandal. And I don't think telling people that they can't succeed is kindness. That's not kind. That's not love. Patting them on the back in their pity while they have a pity party. That's not kindness. You aren't helping them. Celebrating them as they go to the food line in their pajamas. That's not celebrating or helping them. It's not kindness. And in the last 100 years, we didn't lose the ability to succeed. In the last 100 years, we haven't lost the ability to succeed. We have the same ability to be just as accomplished. You know what we've lost? The ability to think we could. That's what we've lost. That's why people sit around and have these NFL or these basketball dreams. Y'all don't think y'all can be nothing besides pro football players and pro basketball players. 5'6", thinking you getting ready to be the next LeBron James. Just tossing your money into programs thinking you getting ready to be the next LeBron James. Why can't you be the next Clarence Thomas? Why can't you be the next engineer or surgeon or mathematician? Why aren't y'all teaching y'all kids they can do something else besides throw or dribble a ball? Why aren't we teaching our girls that they can be something else besides video vixens? They can be something else besides Instagram models. They have more going for them than their ass. What did the Negro American evolve into? It's not what I'm seeing. Black people, y'all aren't taking the opportunities that they took, and you got a lot more of them. A lot more opportunities now, but your mind has shifted. You don't have the mind of your ancestors. You don't. The ancestors, they weren't victims. They weren't always whining. Are we more confident today than they were? I don't think so. Are we more independent today? Huh? Are we more resilient today? If y'all could sit there and fall apart over a monkey meme, you aren't that resilient. I hate to break it to you. You are not that resilient. Whining about, this heat about to burn the hair off of my arms. Whining about it and thinking the world was supposed to stop. You aren't that resilient. Needing to get on camera and cry because somebody's asked you about your hair, your black hair, is not resilient. Are we more resilient, or are we more dependent on validation from systems that we claim are broken? We always talking about something being systemic. It's systemic. But we look for validation from those same systems. The ones we can claim are broken. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Our history should produce some confidence. When you are looking at someone who faced a lot more hardships and they were successful anyway, so successful that we read about them every February, that should build confidence. So successful that they are standard subjects during the month of February, that should breed confidence, not fragility. I remember my daughter saying, "Oh, I'm so sick of learning about the same old black people." She didn't say black, but you know what I mean. But they were so successful, they're the same ones we hear about all the time. Why hasn't that produced confidence in us instead of fragility? Because you know who don't advance? Fragile cultures don't advance. So we look around and wonder why it seems as if black people are regressing. You're fragile. And fragile cultures don't advance. As long as you sit around weak and dependent and thinking you can't, we're not going to advance. I look out and see blacks as a whole regressing. And I'm saying, how did we go from suits and ties and the women dressing so classy to what we have now, the regression? It's the fragility that has been instilled in us. That wasn't what Carter G. Woodson, that's not what he wanted. That wasn't what he set out to do. He didn't want us to internalize limitation. Negro History Week was so we could see all of the great things happening and be confident. Feel like we could achieve as well. But now we're not allowing history to produce that confidence. We're looking at history and we shall overcome one day. Just whining about nothing. Negro History Week, before the Marxists got hold of it, it was supposed to produce belief in ourselves. And then the Marxists got hold of it, expanded it to a month, and now every month in February, all we do is whine. Instead of it producing capability, we don't even believe in ourselves anymore. Instead of it inspiring ambition, we don't even believe in ourselves anymore. We're so down bad that we roll out the bed and think this is enough. And then instead of looking at ourselves, we look around and blame everybody and everything else. We now teach comfort over excellence. There's no standard of excellence anymore. I remember when teachers would call, you did not want your teachers to call home. Whatever it was for. I talked a lot, clearly. I'm past 3:00. I talked a lot in class. I didn't want my mama to be called because I was talking. Now the kids would tell you, call my mama. Because they know mama is coming up there in her Daffy Duck pajama pants and her long bonnet, because you know the braids are up, and the long bonnet to cover up the long weave. and she gonna get you told. Cause how dare you have standards for little fat draws? How dare you have standards for Lil Ray Ray? He gonna be a YN when he gonna be a YN in just a couple years. How dare you have some standards for him? Shoot, you see that butt on my baby? She gonna be an Instagram model. She gonna be the next Cardi B. Why does she need to learn her fractions? Why does she need to be learning on grade level? She gonna go to the strip club and shake what her mama gave her. How dare you have some standards for my baby? Y'all did. I mean, look, I'm just a bit disappointed. Okay. I hope you didn't take this as a lashing or a chastising. Just a bit disappointed. That's all. That's all it is. And I'm sorry that I held you for so long. I want to thank Nomad Dad for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Girly Samurai Esquire, for the super sticker. I really, really appreciate it. I thank y'all for being here today, every head shaker, for what I was shaking my head for. Also, this is the 100th show, y'all. Woo, I meant to say that from the beginning. Girly Samurai say, right, I learned about presentation of oneself from, it's from love. This is the 100th show today. And I appreciate you tuning in on this here Wednesday. And again, I apologize for going longer than usual. I thought I was going to cut this off at 45 minutes. I apologize. I'll be here tomorrow, same place, same time, shaking my head about something else because I know they're going to give me something to shake my head on. Happy 100 shows to you head shakers, especially the ones that have been here from day one. I appreciate you. I appreciate your love and your support and joining me as I continue to shake my head. Thank you, Thomas, Carolyn. Here's to another 100. I'll be here tomorrow, same place, same time. Peace. I love you.